Hello and welcome to Chapter 7, Section 8. Today we're going to learn about multiplying polynomials. When you multiply polynomials, you use the exponent skills that we just practiced. We're going to start with monomial times monomial. And this is something that should be review for you. If we're going to multiply 5x squared times 4x cubed, we're going to multiply the numbers together, and then we're going to total up the number of the variables that are present. So 5 times 4 is 20, and x squared, which is x, times x cubed, which is x times x, gives us x to the fifth. So when we multiply monomials or polynomials and you've got the same base, you're going to add the exponents. Let's do another one. Negative 3x cubed y squared times 4x y to the fifth. Negative 3 times 4 is negative 12. X cubed times x is x to the fourth. Y squared times y to the fifth is y to the seventh. Next we have 1/2 a cubed b times a squared c squared times 6b squared. And all of these get multiplied together. So we're going to start with the coefficients. 1/2 times 6 is 3. A cubed times a squared is a5, and there's nothing else. a5. B to the 1 and b to the 2 is b to the third, and there's only c squared. And so this is our final answer. Notice that our variables are in alphabetical order. So why don't you try this? You've got check it out number 1 on page 512 to give you a little bit of practice with this. Pause here and come back when you're done. So check it out number 1, we have 3x cubed times 6x squared. 3 times 6 is 18, and we have a total of 5 x's. Here 2 times 5 is 10, r squared, and a total of 4 t's. 1/3 times 12 is 4. X squared plus x to the third is x to the fifth. Y times y4 is y5, and z squared times z to the 5 is z to the 7. Make sure you ask if you have any questions. Next, we're going to try to multiply a polynomial by a monomial. So here in the front of each of these sets of parentheses, we have a monomial, and we're going to multiply it by a polynomial. This essentially just means the distributive principle. We're going to multiply 5 times everything in the parentheses. So 5 times 2x squared is 10x squared, plus 5 times x is 5x, plus 5 times 4 is 20. 2x squared y times 3x, 2 times 3 is 6, x squared times x is x cubed, and a y, minus this times negative y. So we've got our negative sign, and we've got 2x squared y squared. 4a times both of these, we're going to add a 4 and an a to ab squared. So we have 4a cubed b plus, and 2 times 4 is 8ab squared. Okay? Pause here, give check it out number 2 on page 513 a try, and come back when you're done. 2 times 4x squared is 8x squared, 2 times x is 2x, and 2 times 3 is 6. 3ab times 5a squared is 15a cubed b plus 3ab squared. And then we're adding an r here, 5r cubed s squared minus 15r squared s cubed, because we're adding one s to these. Okay? The next thing we're going to learn to do is multiply a binomial times a binomial. And there's a system for this called FOIL. And FOIL stands for first, outside, inside, last. And when you're doing 2 items here times 2 items here, it's a little bit easier if you could keep track of it. So FOIL helps you do that. FOIL says we're going to do the first one in this one, times the first one in that one. So that's going to give us x times x, which is x squared. So we're going to put our x squared down. The next we're going to do is the outside ones, the 2 on the outside. So we're going to do x times 2. And I suddenly didn't put this down low enough. X squared plus 2x. Then we're going to do the inside, which are these 2, which is 3x, and then we're going to do the last ones in each of the parentheses. So we're going to do 3 times 2, which is 6. First, outside, inside, last. And you're going to keep the signs with the numbers or variables, because that tells you whether they're positive or negative. Now you have a polynomial with 4 items, but notice these 2 are like terms, so we need to combine them. So our final answer is x squared plus 5x plus 6. Okay? Let's try another one. Using FOIL, we're going to do the first 2, which is x squared. The outside, which is x times -5, which is -5x. The inside, 2 times x, is a positive 2x. And then the last, 2 times -5 is -10. And these 2 are like terms. So we're going to combine them, x squared minus 3x minus 10. Here we have x plus 5 squared, which really is x plus 5 times x plus 5. And for this, we're going to use FOIL. So we're going to do first, which is x squared, outside, which is 5x, inside, which is 5x, and last, which is 25. And we're going to combine our like terms, x squared plus 10x plus 25. For these, we're also going to do FOIL, 3a squared plus a squared. 3a squared times a squared is 3a to the 4th. Outside is -6a squared b. Inside is -a squared b. And last is positive 2b squared. And these are like terms, so we're going to combine them. 3a to the 4th minus 7a squared b plus 2b squared. This is not a complete answer. You are expected to be able to find these 2 if there are any that have like terms. Okay? Pause here. And on page 514, I'm going to ask you to try multiplying binomials. Try and keep the FOIL method in mind when you do this. Pause here and come back when you're done. We have first is a squared, outside is -4a, inside is positive 3a, last is -12. So we have a squared minus a minus 12. First is x squared. Outside is -3x, inside is -3x, and last is positive 9. So we have x squared minus 6x plus 9. First is 2a squared, outside is 8ab squared, inside is -ab squared, and last is -4b to the 4th. So we have 2a squared plus 7ab squared minus 4b to the 4th. If you have any questions, please make sure to ask me. If you have more than a binomial times a binomial, your job is to use the distributive property. There are 2 ways to set this up. If you're a linear person, the distributive property just says take this number and multiply it by everything, and then take this number and multiply it by everything. So this is what that looks like. 5x times 2x squared is 10x squared. 5x times 10x is 50. Whoops, that's a 3. 10x cubed, 50x squared. 5x times negative 6 is negative 30x. And then 3x times each of these. 3x times 2x squared is 6x squared. 3 times 10x is 30x. And 3 times negative 6 is negative 18. Now we have to look for our like terms. These two are alike, and these two are alike. So we start with 10x cubed, and then 50 plus 6x squared, 56x squared, minus 30x plus 30x, these cancel out, and then we end with negative 18. Now there's another way to do this, and it's called the vertical method. And this is setting up your problem so that it looks like a long multiplication problem. You're going to do 3 times each of these 3 things, and you're going to line it up here, and then you're going to do 5x times each of these things, and you're going to line that up, and you'll end up making columns. So 3 times negative 6 is negative 18. So we did that one. Now we're going to do this one. 3 times 10x is 30x, and that's a positive number. And then we're doing that one. 3 times 2x squared is 6x squared. And we're going to make sure that all of our positives and all of our negatives we know what we're doing. Now you've done that one. Now you're going to do this one, and you're going to match all of this up. So you're going to do this times 1, 2, 3. And you're going to start down here. 5x times negative 6 is negative 30x. And I'm lining it up so that my x's are in the same column. 5x times 10x is 50x squared. 5x times 2x squared is 10x cubed. And this is a positive number, and that's a positive number. And now we're going to add going down in our columns. Negative 18. These two cancel each other out. This makes 56x squared, and this makes 10x cubed. And we have the same thing that we had here. So either way works. And I'm going to do this section both ways so that you can pick your favorite way to do it. Let's try this one with the vertical method. 3x times 6. Now notice that here we had the x's lined up and the constants lined up. Here we don't. So we're going to have to consciously line up our columns. 3x times 6 is 18x. 3x times 2x is 6x squared. Positive number, positive number. 3x times negative 4x squared is going to be negative 12x cubed. Now we're going to go down one. 5x squared times 6 is going to give us an x squared number, so we're going to put it under here. That's 5 times 6 is 30x squared, and that's a positive number. 5x squared times 2x is 10x cubed, positive number, 10x cubed. And 5x squared times negative 4x squared is negative 20x to the 4th. Now when we add them, we're making sure that our columns are the same, like terms, and we have negative 20x to the 4th minus 2x cubed plus 36x squared plus 18x. 4, 3, 2, 1. So we've set it up correctly. We've kept all of our correct signs, and we're all done. Let's do some more of these both ways so that you can get good at them.